Okay, as you can see, I really like surfing on the islands. It's so beautiful. Um, the main island that kind of some people are familiar with is Okinawa, and that's famous for one having a lot of military bases, and two it was where the Karate Kid was filmed. And what's funny about that is that I actually had a bishop who was a karate instructor who was Bishop Miyagi in one of my areas. But there in Okinawa, it's just beautiful. We went to the beach for a couple activities. Obviously didn't swim, but it's just gorgeous. The water's blue. It's warm. It's everything about it is just nice. And it was actually quite a bit different culturally than the rest of Japan. More laid back. They had some words that were a little different. Um, Not too many. I mean, I was still able to understand what was going on, but they spoke a little more slurred. They had some funny words that I wasn't used to. Um, but other than that, I loved being there. It was beautiful. And then the other islands I served on are just these tiny islands that are significantly closer to Taiwan than they are the rest of my mission, or even Okinawa for that matter. On a clear day, you can see Taiwan from these islands. One of them is called Ishigaki, and the other one's called Miyako. I spent most of the time on Ishigaki. That was a different experience too. It's mostly the island culture. I'd say maybe even a little more laid back. It just all the time when you were there, things felt like they were just kind of in a slower pace, you know. But it was beautiful. Ishigaki was really a what's the good word? There's a lot of boats. Like anytime you go to the edge of the water, most likely you're going to see a lot of boats and like a marine. A lot of that going on in Ishigaki. There's the one place called Kabira Bay. Stunning, beautiful. Like I'm fairly confident that the pictures of this bay are the type of things you see in the like default set of pictures you can use as the background on your computer. I have seen default backgrounds of computers that are very similar to pictures that I took while I was there. One of two places in the world where they cultivate black pearls. The water's so clear that it's one of those places where if you take the picture at the right time of day, it looks like boats are floating because the water's so clear and you can see the shadow a few feet below them in the sand. We went out there a couple times. It was kind of far. I had to go on P-Day because it was a far bike ride, but it's just beautiful. I just remember loving being there. And even though, you know, everything there is like salt washed and just, you can tell you're by the ocean all the time. It smells of it. You get this breeze and it's just, I don't know what to say. I absolutely loved being there. The missionary work was a little different there because it was so small that I think most people had seen the missionaries quite a bit, you know. So it was sometimes tough in that aspect, but it was also close-knit. Some people knew you well enough to kind of be friendly with you as well, more so than other areas. That's essentially what I remember of it, is it was more chill. I loved being there. It was a very beautiful place. Most people don't even know about those smaller islands, but they are very dear to my heart. You know, the branches were tiny, you know. There was few enough males that if I was the senior missionary, I was usually on the branch presidency for the ward. And Ishigaki, there's about 8 adult members that were active, I think, and very close knit. As a result, they really rely on you as missionaries, which isn't a good thing necessarily, but you could tell that you were an important part of their branch, and it was crucial for you to be there for them. But just being in that very small, closed, like not closed in, but I do remember at some points if I had a Japanese companion, it was a little, I'm the only person here that speaks English, and it would be frustrating. You'd want to call your zone leader or whatever so that you could talk in English, speak in English. But I really enjoyed being there. It was beautiful and very kind people, very warm. You know, people that have been to Hawaii can kind of understand how welcoming and greeting they can be, and it was kind of like that.